Joined by two-time All-Pro running back, 1996 Offensive Rookie of the Year, 95 Heisman winner, Bowling Green head coach. I was in Appleton, Wisconsin with my two nephews. We were at like a restaurant on Tuesday. You're on all the screens. We're rooting for you. I'm explaining to the 9-year-old the lore of the great Eddie George. She's like, how do you know who he is? You don't like college ball, but I know it wasn't the result that you wanted, but you are absolutely crushing it. It's so fun to see. And it can't be easy going from playing to coaching, but here you go. Tennessee State, their first postseason in over a decade, now leading Bowling Green. How is it going?
Wow. Well, first of all, Appleton was, I know the spot you're talking about, is right? Is it in the Hyatt or something like that?
Yes.
Like downtown Appleton?
Yes.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You've been.
We played Green Bay, we stayed there a few times. But, Kay, I'm so honored that you recognize that. I mean, the Titans aren't doing well right now. We're not doing well right now. So it's a rebuild year for us here at Bowling Green State. Our kids are playing extremely hard. We are working on the discipline stuff right now, just really laying the foundation as far as the culture. And what I look for is, are we still playing hard? Are we engaged? Are we still paying attention? And then we're finding out, right now who's committed to football and who's not, who just finds it interesting. So it's a good position that we're in, and we got one more game to go, and then we're off to the off season to get better.
Okay, so you have the final game against UMass next Tuesday. When you look back at this season, what do you measure your success by? What are you most proud of?
Oh, man, I'm most proud of the fact that no matter how hard it got, we handled hard better. And what I mean by that, nobody didn't point fingers, wasn't a lot of that. We continued to show up and to work every single day. We did get better. We just haven't seen the results yet. And that's the thing. We kept getting up off the mat every single week, and we're being competitive. We're finding ourselves in close ball games. We're just learning how to finish. So, we came into this season. I got here pretty late in the process in the spring, assessing the talent, put together a roster, and things haven't gone the way we had hoped earlier on. We started off 3-3, beat Toledo, and then injuries happened, and we're playing guys that are playing for the first time ever. So it's a process. So I'm just really proud of the doggedness that's been created in terms of our attitude, and we refuse to quit or give up.
Yeah.
And we're not getting discouraged. And that's the first brick that's laid in terms of mental toughness. So I'm really excited about the future here at Bowling Green.
What more could you ask for? That's what you set a foundation. You clearly are. That's what it is in year one, and there's so much transition going on that now you dig in and you build from here. You're very popular on campus. The attendance is up.
I used to be. There's a cat. There's a cat.
Well, you're talking about doggedness, but somehow cats are involved here. So this is Pudge. But you're talking about facing adversity. You're allergic to cats, Eddie. This I know.
I am.
So George Carlson, the long snapper, starts bringing him around. How did you negotiate this?
Well, I was like taken aback when I saw Pudge in the meeting room during training camp. And I'm like, is there a cat in the facility? And I'm like, how do I handle, because I love animals. So I went over to George and I said, well, what's up with the cat? He says, well, this is Pudge, and I brought him in to kind of lighten the mood. Guys are kind of down. And when I got the backstory on why George brought him in, it's like his service animal for him, because he lost his mother a few years ago, and it's a way that how he deals with stress. So I said, you know what? Hey, I'm good with it. Just give me 2 minutes in front of him so I won't get an allergic reaction, and then we're good. And he's been popular. Now the cat has all these NIL deals.
Yeah.
He has arena sponsorship. He's got a Heisman commercial. He has interviews with the New York Times and CBS News and 60-minute pieces and all of this, and he doesn't talk. But he's lovable. I love him. My wife loves him, and he's brought great levity to a really tough season for us. So he's been the highlight.
You are really taking one for the team. That is
Oh,
what,
yeah.
that's like,
Yes.
you know, you're
That's what
dealing.
we talk about sacrifice,
Yeah,
Kay. That's what
you.
it's about. We sacrifice.
It's always been you. I want to ask you, I see you when I think Heisman. I want to ask you, the race this season. I'm not that much of a college girly, but I know Mendoza's the name I hear all the time. If we can look at that, I think it's number 10 on here. I don't know if we have the list here. But it's Mendoza, Julian Sayin, of course, and then Marcel Reed, who I'm trying to get on my show. I really liked that 27-point comeback. Even I saw that. That was insane. As a former Heisman winner, forever a Heisman winner, who do you think has stood out the most this year?
Well, I hadn't had a chance to really watch it, but when I have, certainly Marcel Reed, who I know from his high school days, my son has played. They played on the same team in high school together. I've watched this kid grow up, and he's just a phenomenal. He's the son of Rod Reed, who was the head coach at Tennessee State when I took over there, and he showed to me when they played at Notre Dame. That was a moment where I felt like, ooh, yeah, he's to go into Notre Dame, find a way to beat that team, and then show a 27-point comeback at home when they weren't playing well. I think you have to really consider him to be probably the front runner or top 3 right now in terms of Heisman Trophy candidates, because you look for those moments, where you're not having your best game, when you can come back and overcome adversity. And he showed that. He's got arguably one of the best teams in the country. He's put up the numbers, but he showed that he can handle the pressure under the bright lights when it's toughest. And that's what winning the Heisman, in my eyes, is all about. It's the best player in the country, and he's definitely showing that. And I would say also Jeremiah Smith. He's not putting up the big numbers, but just his ability to make big plays is just tremendous. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out here in the next couple of weeks. But my ballot's coming in, and I'll have to say, Marcel is definitely in the top of my conversation in terms of guys I'm thinking about as far as the Heisman.
Love hearing that. And then, of course, I want to get into all of these NFL storylines and into Tennessee and all of that. But a big storyline right now is Shedeur Sanders. And I wanted to ask you about that, making his first NFL start Sunday. Limited action. A huge storyline is that he just did not have first-team reps going into that. So did we set him up for success is a big question. If you were the coach, or if you were somebody that got to be around Shedeur, what would you tell him, and how would you coach him to make the most of this opportunity?
Well, I've been in that situation this year where I'm dealing with a young quarterback, and the best thing for a young quarterback is a run game, your running game, and tight ends, and seeing the middle of the field. And you see here, they're going to pressure him. Any young running quarterback that's in the game, they're going to see how he handles the pressure. Didn't necessarily handle it that well last week. Now with a week of preparation, having seen it, knowing where your pressures are coming from, having a full week to prepare as the starter, I think he'll settle in much better. You see him here stepping back in rhythm, whether it's a quick 5 or quick 3, getting the ball out in on time. Where he's going to have to learn to do is to, when the play breaks down, is not hold on to it long, have answers, know where your answers are under pressure. And I've competed against Shedeur when he was at Jackson State, when I was at Tennessee State. Mm-hmm. I've watched him certainly over the past few years, and he's matured into a professional. Now he has the opportunity to go out and show the world why, hey, I deserve to have this position, and really make his claim to say he's the future moving forward. So I'm really excited for him, and I think he's always handled himself as a professional, and I think hopefully he'll do fine this week against the Raiders. I
mean, I hope he does more than fine. I hope he can win himself a starting gig.
Yes.
This week. I think that might be possible in this game.
It is possible. They're playing the Raiders.
Ooh. Ooh. But it's see, it's great, but it sucks too, Coach, because then it's like, I can't know I'm calling you Coach. I'm the first time I've ever said that. It's because if he doesn't do well, he couldn't even do it against the Raiders. And that's just like,
Listen, here's the thing. The league there's not a bad team in the league in terms of talent-wise. Everybody is good. What the differences is the culture, 1, 2, momentum, injuries, 3. So there's a lot of factors go into it. So, he's getting an opportunity to play, and we're going to see if he deserves the next opportunity to be the starter. This is what he wanted. This is what he has. And he has to go out there and make the most of it. And he has a chance to, for at least 1 week, silence the naysayers. And as you become successful, you know, that red dot, that target becomes bigger on your back. So he's gotta just take it all in stride. You know, keep your head down, chop wood, carry water, and take it, and just be a professional day in and day out. And take the good with the bad, because you got to understand he's going to throw an interception. He's going to have bad plays, but hopefully he'll make more good plays than bad plays. I think he's probably learned from last week going into this week in terms of handling the pressure when it comes.
You've scouted him. You've coached against him. Is he an NFL starting quarterback?
I believe he is. I think he has to get the opportunities now. I think, you know, he has the arm talent. Now the game has to slow down for him. He's got to get the reps. And again, it's not just on Shedeur. You know, the surrounding pieces. Again, if the run game is efficient for him, and he's in third and manageable situations where he can get the ball out fast, he can hit his tight ends, he can run for a first down, he'll be fine. He has to stay ahead of schedule. Where it goes off the rails, again, if he's in third and long situations and he's getting blitzes, I mean, that's tough for any young quarterback to deal with. So it's just not all on Shedeur. It's going to be on play calling, and it's a lot of pressure on that run game with Junkins and the offensive line to get positive yards on first and second down. That is going to be the key.
And Harold Fannin Jr. Now, come on.
Harold Fannin Jr.
He's throwing to the bowling green. I know you didn't coach him, but let's talk about the program here, because the early success Harold is having is amazing. I'd like you to talk about the future he could have in the league.
Oh, Harold, look, man, watching last year's tape, man. I mean, I could use a Harold Fannin Jr. right about now. Same colors as the Browns. Actually, the Browns got the Bowling Green colors back in the day and all. That's another story. But Harold Fanning is a phenomenal young man. He has a bright future. Watching his tape last year, he played a little bit of everything here, whether it was receiver, tight end, running back. Dude could play quarterback if he wants to. Great athlete. Catches the ball extremely well. Run after the catch. He's phenomenal. And he has a bright future. And again, for any young quarterback, finding your tight ends in the passing game is going to be a huge benefit for you, because he's always kind of in the middle of the field. And you can see here him catching a dig route, or it's a spot route, or stick routes, or your option routes. You know, finding the key matchups one-on-one. Look for number 44. You know, he can help you in so many ways, settle in, get you back on schedule, settle you down, versus trying to throw, looking at a concept going from your progression 1 to 2 to 3. You know, sometimes you just got to go 1, 2, get rid of it. You know, if your tight is not there, burn it or run. You know, so that's kind of what I would say. And I have to say this too. You know, I know this firsthand because I watched the maturation of a young Steve McNair. You know, that's why they put me in, along with Frank Wycheck, to take the pressure off of Steve early in his career. And it took him, you know, 4 to 5 years before he really settled in as an NFL quarterback. And he went from managing a game to becoming an NFL MVP in 2000 and 2001. So having seen it firsthand as a player, and now coaching it, being in the seat where I'm trying to figure out my quarterback situation, I can speak to it intimately. I'm living it right now in real time.
Of course, and you're doing it very well, and I'm super. I need some gear. I need some Bowling Green gear.
We're on the same. I'm looking at that FanDuel helmet like that's an ugly piece of.
I got it. You got to get me something.
Like a Buckeye helmet or Bowling Green.
I need one.
Brown, and I see the Dolly Parton.
Yes.
And all that. Yeah.
Listen, Coach, you're always about the details. You're always about the details. Do you want me to ask you about? Would you rather talk about Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry? You pick.
Ooh, well, Derrick is a beast. I mean, he just has to keep. We can talk about both. Why not?
Well, the question. So my Derrick question is. I mean, I got to talk to him a couple weeks ago. He reached top 5 all-time in rushing touchdowns this last month, okay? And he's been doing it for 10 years. That's the crazy part, 10 years. I don't think people understand that we might be watching potentially, and you did your thing, we got Hall of Famers, you're a future Hall of Famer, all of that. But when the curtain closes on Derrick's career, he might be considered the greatest running back ever. What do you think?
He's certainly making that mark. I mean, because of the amount of, not just in the NFL, but from high school, okay, college. I don't think he's ever missed a game. I think he missed, one season in the NFL due to injury. Just his ability. He's a home run hitter in a big man's body. You see him here, breaking off long runs. He has 98-yard touchdown runs under his belt. He can catch out the backfield. He's a big target, and he's still doing this at a very high level late in his career. And it's a testament to what he does in the offseason. So it's certainly up for debate and conversation of being the greatest of all time because of what he's been able to do consistently, putting up big numbers year in and year out. It's just amazing.
He was struggling early. You had a talk with him, so you have a hand in his legacy.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't say that. Maybe just a tad bit. Yeah, but we had a candid conversation, and it was a particular game he played in London, actually. I want to say, oh God, I can't remember the year, but we were in London, and there was a play. We were playing the Chargers, and there was a play where he saw undersized linebacker in the hole, and he didn't challenge him. And that's when I was like, you know what? He's not imposing his will. He's looking for the big play. And this is the time when he's coming off the heels of splitting time with the other running back, Murray, who was with the Titans at the time. And he was just trying, DeMarco Murray, thank you. And he was just trying to find ways to hit the home run. And I was just basically telling him, listen, use your size to your advantage and come downhill. Impose your will on these dudes, and they don't want to see you. I said, you now have got to play as if your career is on the line, because it is. Because there were talks of trades. They were saying he was not a great pick and this and that. And ever since we had that conversation, he's been motivated, not just me. He's talked to other running backs as well, just getting some inspiration. Ever since that day, everything just turned and clicked, and he's going on to have a Hall of Fame run. And I'm just really proud and happy for him, because you can see the numbers that he's putting up, and it's been remarkable.
We'll be right back on the TV side. We're going to get this content out still very much live on the YouTube side and the social side here. You mentioned Hall of Fame, so let's do it. Your resume is deserving of a gold jacket. Okay, Coach?
Okay. I appreciate that.
You've already been a semifinalist, I believe, twice. Now, when it comes to Canton, how much are you thinking about it? What's your relationship? And has the committee provided feedback on why not yet?
I hadn't talked to anybody, honestly. It'll be a tremendous honor, honestly. I don't know how those things go. It's got to go through its process, and everybody has their opportunity. The thing I could say I'm most proud of is that the guys that I played with during my era, the Steve McNairs and Derrick Mason, Javon Curse, Bruce Matthews, it was during a time when, hey, the Tennessee Titans, the Houston Oilers transitioned to the Tennessee Titans, and we were a nomadic football team at the time. And we didn't have a lot of talent, and I was putting up some really, really good numbers that kind of went unseen. And, I played in a conference where I had to see Ray Lewis twice and Pittsburgh twice. And it was a grown man football, and I had to earn it, so.
Hold on, when you're talking about the number, because you're like talking about teammates' names and stuff, let's get this right. 10,000 yards in a 7-year span is so insane. And then you give the context, you give what you didn't have, who you had to face, all of that. The way that here's why you dominated your era. That is just true. Second most rushing yards in the NFL over your span with the Titans, or whatever you want to say. That, to me, that is the ticket in.
Okay, you know what? That's why, you know what? Appleton.
Yeah. Well,
and
and
what
Pudge.
do you want for Christmas?
Pudge wants you to be in too. Look, you have a man here who's willing to put up with the itchies and the scratchies with a cat just to make people happy and feel comfortable. Like, do you know what we have here? No,
I need you to talk for me. Thank you, Kay.
Well, we need to. Sometimes it's a campaigny game. You know, you can't be demure about it. You got to, like, talk your stuff. And you've got a lot of stuff to talk about, being the two-time All-Pro running back that you are. Last one for you, quick. I mean, before you took this Bowling Green gig, you had a meeting with the Bears, I do believe. Like, this coaching thing, Vrabel's doing pretty well. Like, if Amy called you, how would that convo go?
Wow.
Tough one.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, currently I am the head coach for Bowling Green State University, and I can't talk about any other job outside of that. Now, you know, I have talked to Amy before, and, you know, there were some comments that were taken out of context from my perspective. And, you know, I'm trying to win ball games up here. I'm not thinking about anything else other than that. Now, you know, I just, from the outside looking in, I just think that they have an opportunity to really vet out someone that's going to come in and be a leader in that situation. And because in my mind, Mike Vrabel, you know, was a great pick, and you see what he's doing, the impact he's having at New England. And with whatever happened, I don't know what happened inside those walls. There was some kind of, you know, maybe some disagreements or whatever that is, but it didn't work out. But I think that's the next move, is finding someone, who can command the room, who has ties to the community, and can be someone that's competent in terms of the X's and O's to get the job done, and is going to sell the culture there. I'm not quite sure, you know, what that looks like moving forward, you know, as far as where the Titans are, but that's, in my estimation, you know, what do you want to be? What is the vision for this organization? Not just for the short term, but for the long term. You know, there are some organizations that hang their hat on their identity, and that, you know, you look at Pittsburgh, you know exactly what you're getting from Pittsburgh. You can look around the league or at different organizations in terms of understanding who they are in terms of their identity and who they're going to be moving forward. So, you know, having been there, having had success there, I kind of know what that blueprint looks like. And it has to be something that's agreed upon, a shared vision with Amy, the general manager, and the next head coach, whoever that's going to be.
I have to ask, just because Titan fans want you back. I know you're happy, your work, it perfectly answered, but Titans fans really want you back, and everything you're saying, you are that guy. By the way, Titans not the only team looking for coaches, Giants as well. Just putting that out there. We love you. I just miss you in the NFL. Appreciate you. Good luck against UMass.
I appreciate you.
Close it out strong.
That's the message. Finish strong, Kay. Finish strong.
Give Pudge a pet for me.
Send me an address.
I will.
I'm going to send you some gear.
Good.
I'm going to send you a candle. You need a Joe Malone candle burning in the background.
A Joe Malone candle? Who knew?
Yes.
You're the best. Okay, Santa George. We'll talk to you later. Appreciate you.